Hey everybody, Chad here. As I mentioned the previous weeks, we're off for 3 weeks due to scheduling conflicts, so releasing some classic episodes. This week we've got mini episode number 28. This is one of our favorite mini episodes. It includes some fantastic stories, especially in the second half of the episode. So I think you're really going to like it. We'll be back next week with brand new episodes, so stay tuned for those. We'll see you then. Deuces.
Here in the United States of America, the election is upon us. Who will win? Well, it's still neck and neck and too close to call. If these candidates really wanted to win, they should look no further for inspiration than the man who carried an election like no other, getting every single electoral vote available. Who, you ask, could dominate like this? And more importantly, how did he do it? Well, if you've been listening, you know exactly who. George Washington and his timber Tetons rose to the occasion. He paraded those birch bazooms all through the 13 colonies, touting his famous campaign slogan, "Thanks for the memories." But now it's time for a YTD election. Shirley Temple versus Roy Rogers. Who will be the president of the kitty cocktails? You tried that. You tried that. Nick Novak with my pals, Chad Hancock.
Howdy.
Nick Geiger.
Hey.
I'm sorry. I could not resist.
No.
What's an election without? Well, because I was looking up different types of wood, and when I looked up, and I was using birch, and I had to look it up, and it said birch was an extremely sturdy hardwood, and I thought that's what Washington would probably use to form his décolletage.
Oaken titties that man had. It was just like could not be penetrated.
Or a balsa brazier.
And we all know Washington is top president. But we filmed this. We recorded. I don't know. On Mount Rushmore, we decided he was the top.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, he's biggest on Mount Rushmore, but don't look into his some of his more
ignore
unsavory.
That. Yeah.
Ignore some of the other parts of his history, maybe.
Right. Well, I mean, wooden titties.
I mean, he's earned it just from his. I cannot tell a lie. These titties are real wood.
Do look into that. Don't look into the rest.
Stare deeply into his wooden titties.
They'll distract you from all the unsavory things.
Look into them. They're very hypnotic. They have swirls carved centered around the nipples.
He's got like pinwheels on the end of them, just spinning.
What the fuck is happening?
Washington got them wooden pinwheels.
And Chad, you have a fantastic news story for us.
Yeah. So we've talked in the past a little bit about some food news that came out of Berkeley. If you guys remember, like a while back, we talked about it. I read a news story about how Berkeley, the city of Berkeley here in California, had instituted like a meatless Mondays throughout their government building. So I have a new news story from Berkeley here. This is from sfist.com. And the headline is, "Meanwhile in Berkeley, ... City Council passes ordinance requiring healthy snacks in grocery checkout lanes." So I thought this was relevant to our interests. Here's I'll read you some of this article here. "This week, Berkeley once again gives itself a gold star for being the first in the nation to ban the sale of candy and junk food items in grocery checkout lanes and require healthy snack choices instead. The nanny state has declared that your impulse purchases shall no longer ruin your diet. The new ordinance passed unanimously at the council meeting. They said in a statement, the healthy checkout ordinance is essential for community health, especially in the time of COVID-19. What's good for Berkeley customers is also good for our business." So basically, it impacts larger grocery stores. It says 2,500 square feet or greater. So places like Safeway, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, and stuff. So they have to pull out their candy racks. And they said a senior policy associate says in a statement, By offering healthier options at checkout, stores will contribute to advancing public health and level the playing field for consumers during an already stressful time. The ban applies to any food with more than 5 grams of added sugar or more than 250 milligrams of sodium. And stores are encouraged to line their checkout lanes with fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, dairy, whole grains, chewing gum, and mints with no added sugars. So I just wanted to real quick take issue with them saying that it's leveling the playing field for consumers during a stressful time. Because I don't know about you guys, but since quarantine started, I've eaten like 10 times more Snickers bars, I think, than like maybe the rest of my life. Like I'm just like comfort jamming those Snickers down my throat. I don't know. What do you guys think?
This is terrible. It's brutal. This is an awful decision. I mean, I get it if a store wants to do that, right? That's within their own right. We're gonna, be a health food store, or whatever. But don't make me walk an extra aisle over to get the candy. I'm not interested in that. If I was so interested in walking, then maybe I wouldn't be eating the candy to begin with. I just want the candy.
This is just the most California bullshit I've ever heard. Like, it's like,
right.
What? And it hurts those businesses. I don't care what you say. I'm not going to cry for like Kroger or something. I'm sure they'll survive.
Sure.
But like,
yeah.
They're going to hurt. I mean, a lot of those impulse buys now, so little Tommy's going to be in the checkout aisle begging his mom for a fistful of legumes. I mean, it's just, and also that stuff attracts flies. It's like harder to put. I'm sure it's like more difficult to put around, like oranges and shit. Like, well, the poor checkout person has to sit there next to a bunch of green peppers or something.
Why is that attracting flies? And it doesn't attract flies in the other
flies.
aisle.
Yeah, they do. No.
The checkout aisle just looks like Pigpen from the Peanuts. Just like flies all over the place somehow. But the produce aisle is like fresh, spot clean.
It is just insulting to you. Like,
yes.
You need to be like this needs to be taken away from you.
Yeah.
Like, I can't find it somewhere else, and I don't know where the apples are located. So just, I don't know. The whole thing is fucked.
I actually think I'm going to take this a step further. I think this is an assault on our podcast. Okay, I think somebody in Berkeley heard our podcast and said, like, okay, these guys have way too much influence. They're like telling people to go out, buy Snickers, buy some Reese's Cups, buy some, whatever. What other stuff did we like? Cadbury eggs, all that kind of stuff. And, they saw Little Debbie sales skyrocket after our Little Debbie episodes, and they
after we trashed all their snacks.
They were like, these guys have too much power and influence. We need to, put the kibosh on this. Is there an opportunity here for Miracle Fruities to come in here and say, like, they put their Miracle Fruities at the, at the checkout line as well, and say, like, oh, you want to eat this shit? Here, we'll make it taste good. And
Miracle Fruity is not going to make an eggplant taste better. I mean, it's just like
eggplant. It's just sliced eggplant where the Twix used to be.
Make it a Twix shape and wrap it up.
The people who made this law also never saw me literally scour a grocery store looking for a Hostess cupcake one time, where I just walked every aisle 14 times. Like, it must be here.
Yeah. They never see me go to 6 gas stations to find a wild cherry Coke Zero or the fuck they're trying to find one time. I mean, it's just, Berkeley, I got a new job for you. Get bent. That's not really a job. It's just a recommendation. That's so dumb. That's so
my
dumb.
new profession is bending myself. Says
I'm
City
all
of Berkeley.
for stuff like, taxing cigarettes, because those actually like bother other people. Someone getting fat or diabetic has no impact on my life. I mean, I'm sure maybe like, there's studies that drain on our healthcare system and my insurance goes up.
Yeah, big impact actually.
There's knock-on effects, but in that day, I'm not going to get any secondhand sugar from somebody.
This immediate circle of space that I'm in, I don't care if that person's eating a Cadbury egg or an eggplant.
I don't care if they have an almond or an almond joy. I don't care either one.
Didn't Wisconsin respond by putting the fruit further towards the back of the store?
Wisconsin responded by instead they took all the candy down and like, fine, you want some fucking snacks up here, and put like a full deep dish pizza rack up there and like a hoagie sandwich rack that's like 6 miles long. Yeah.
Wisconsin was like, instead of a book burning, we're just going to have a produce burning. They just a huge bonfire with all their fruits and veggies.
Yeah, they got rid of the
Legumes.
soda coolers and just put like tubs of sour cream in there instead.
All right.
All right, so we're not. We do like to try a lot of snacks from various places, but I think we're not going to try any Berkeley snacks anytime soon.
Yeah, Berkeley, you fucked up.
We have got an important election to settle. I don't mean this country. No one gives a shit about that election.
Right.
We have an election between which is the best kitty cocktail, and it is the Shirley Temple versus the Roy Rogers. And the Shirley Temple, we have found in our research, comes in different varieties. The one we are having today is the grenadine ginger ale combination. Sometimes you see it with like a Sprite or Sierra Mist type of lemon lime soda, against the Roy Rogers, which I had never heard of before, but Chad brought to our attention, is the grenadine and Coke. So, Chad, did you know about this before? Had you heard of the Roy Rogers before you suggested it?
Yeah, I had heard of it. I didn't know what was in it. And so we had decided we were going to do Shirley Temple, and I was like, oh, I think there's a drink called a Roy Rogers. I didn't realize it was so similar to the Shirley Temple, though, when I first looked it up. It's just a different soda with grenadine. And just without having tasted either of these, like, the Shirley Temple at a serious disadvantage here, because I don't know about you guys, but I think ginger ale normally super gross. So maybe the grenadine will spice it up. We'll see.
This might be a unfathomable comment I'm about to make, but I'm trying to rack my brain. I may never have had just regular ginger ale before. What? I really don't know if I've ever tried it. That can't be right, but
that is very unfathomable.
Yeah, can you fathom it? I can't.
No fathoming.
Well, they don't have it in the checkout line in Wisconsin.
No, they don't. It's all motor oil and liquefied peanut butter you can drink. But I don't like ginger, so I'm assuming I don't like ginger ale then, unless it's yeah.
I also put the I happened to pick up the cherries, the maraschino cherries, and you guys chose not to. I don't know how much difference it'll make.
I would have picked them up. I just they weren't at the liquor store I went to.
If you guys get an ice cream sundae, do you eat the maraschino cherry?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm fine with maraschino cherries in small quantities, like 1, maybe 2.
Do you ever sit down and eat a bowl of maraschino cherries?
Yeah, I'm not going to
with the maraschino cherry, not cherries.
Yeah,
I won't eat it off the ice cream. I'll usually ask my kids if they want it or something.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Would you eat a maraschino cherry in the checkout aisle? Is that the way we can kind of work around this? Some insanely sweet
The
cherries.
reason I'm so pissed about that law is that when I go to the grocery store, I go straight to the checkout aisle and just load up my cart with whatever's there.
Just do all my purchase supermarket sweep style, just pulling the entire checkout line into your cart.
I just come home with 30 chapsticks and Us Magazine.
25 iTunes cards.
I used to love going to the checkout aisle and reading the Inquirers and stuff, and I'd be telling my dad oh Dad, they found a wolf man and stuff. I'd be thinking it's all real. I mean, I was in my defense, I was 17, so how was I supposed to know? But
then you looked and it was actually a picture of your dad on the wolf.
My dad, I turned around, he's going scratching himself with his hind leg. Oh, ow! Pass me those legumes.
This Inquirer says there's a store removing all the candy from the checkout aisles, Dad.
But just wait till the next full moon. I'll fix that.
All right. So which one should we do first?
Well, what are we rating it on, Chad, before we...
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. So we are going to cast our votes here in what can only be described as the best and most perfect vote casting system. We're going to give them between 1 and 538 electoral votes for each of these drinks.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So are we splitting them up? We're giving... we want to give one of them 400 and the other one 100 and whatever.
Yeah, sure. Let's make you guys do some
Okay,
math.
wait, how many electoral votes are possible?
That's 538 possible.
Who's got 2 thumbs and is going to rate in nice round numbers?
537 and 1.
This guy was raised by Wolfman. He wasn't doing a whole lot of math.
We were mostly just evading Van Helsing my entire life. So I couldn't think of the guy. I almost said the actor's name instead.
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
Your dad sees Hugh Jackman on the National Enquirer. He's like, that motherfucker.
You won't get me. That guy's just an actor, Dad.
All right, let's do the Shirley Temple first because it's a little more well known.
Now, these are both also named after real people. So Shirley Temple is a child actress, right? And Roy Rogers, I think, is the singing cowboy, right, or something like that.
Yeah, some kind of a cowboy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Roy Rogers played Van Helsing, right?
Today we're going to be drinking the Hugh Jackman. It's just Coke and then like 10 silver bullets dropped into it. Doesn't even make any sense.
Nope. All right.
What brand ginger ale did you guys get? I got Canada Dry, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. I will also say the grenadine I have could possibly be the grenadine I've purchased about 20 years ago. I have a big bottle of it.
The fuck?
Well, it's like I have a big bottle of it. We're getting near the end. I don't know what we've made with it before, but it's been probably behind my bar for some
I brought a new one, and Rose's grenadine package or bottle looks exactly the same.
Yeah, me too. I got the same one, except my bottle's a lot smaller than that, and it will probably be 20 years before I use it again.
So in the back here, they have some recipes. One is roses and ice cream. So pour grenadine on your ice cream. Sounds bad. A grown-up Shirley Temple in a tall glass. Fill it with ice. Add grenadine and sparkling water. So it's just a Shirley Temple in a big glass. It doesn't make it grown up at all.
I think the original Shirley Temple was just club soda.
It was a girl. We talked about it.
With grenadine.
It was her blood in a glass.
The original Roy Rogers was Coke and grenadine, and then the guy's parents liked it so much, they named him after the drink.
Yeah. That's my middle name is Miller High Life.
The original Wolfman was Dick Geiger.
My poor fucking dad. He's just a depraved animal in every sense on everywhere on this podcast.
Your parents liked Wolfmen so much that they had your dad. Or wait, your grandparents. I fucked it up.
Like, what?
Never mind. Cut that out.
That's a real Inception type comment there. I'm very confused.
Didn't you know that your parents gave birth to your dad and he was a Wolfman?
Gross! Anyway, back to our election episode.
Okay, so this is hard. I really hate when, I do like cherry Coke as a drink, and I tried to order it at a restaurant, and I said, "Do you have cherry Coke?" And they said yes, and then they gave me Coke with grenadine.
Yeah,
which is awful. It's not even close to as good as regular cherry Coke, right?
Little did you know that whole time that was a Roy Rogers.
It does sound like one of those weird, sexual Urban Dictionary things.
Gave him the old Roy Rogers.
Okay.
It was grenadine in a Coke. And then I poured it all over my dick.
That's
one of those sexual things where you just dump a drink in your lap?
Yep, that's right.
The Roy Rogers is when Wolfman licks your butthole.
The Aaron Rodgers is when I watch a football game and come repeatedly.
This is tough because I think the grenadine makes this is closer than I thought it was going to be. The grenadine makes the ginger ale strictly better, and I think it makes the Coke strictly worse.
Nailed it.
Yep, I'm with you.
What is, real quick, I'm just going to Google 538 divided by 2.
Let's all give it half and half.
Now, are we counting the individual? Like, so if I gave something 400 and Chad gave it like 100, they'd have 500 going into. Okay.
We're
Not
adding
just
up
like-
all the electoral votes. It's going to be way more than the 270 needed.
Right.
Or you could just do the old George Washington and give all the electoral votes to one person.
You could.
You could.
Good.
You could.
Good.
Could.
Titties made of wood.
There once was a man with wood titties.
Here we go.
There once was a man with gout.
That's also my dad, actually. He has really bad gout. I'll go. What the fuck are we talking about?
So much running around with no shoes on is just bare wolf paws.
Yeah, all hunched over at all fours and horrible on his knee joints. I again, I agree with Chad wholeheartedly in that I enjoy Coke a lot. It's definitely on my Mount Rushmore of sodas. And so this adding the cherry syrup to it makes it taste worse. Whereas I don't like ginger that much, and I don't, like I said, I'm not even sure if I've had ginger ale. I took a sip of it before I made the drink just to see what it tasted like. But the Shirley Temple is actually kind of refreshing. It's like it's lighter, it's like citrusy, and it's not like competing sugars. I think part of the problem is Coke is already super sweet, and adding the grenadine in it makes it even sweeter. Whereas ginger ale, I'm assuming, is not inherently too sweet, and so I think it's the right amount in a Shirley Temple. So 538, right, is what it is.
Yep.
Oh man, you haven't split it up yet.
No, I haven't.
We're fucked.
Watch the steam come out of my ears as this happens. I will say I will give. I'm actually going to significantly tilt it Shirley Temple's way a little bit because I don't like the Roy Rogers that
And you don't want to
much.
do math.
And I hate math. So
537 to 1.
I will give the Shirley Temple 400, and I'll give the Roy Rogers 138. Did I do that right?
Wow. All right.
It's a lot, but I don't think I'd ever drink a Roy Rogers again. And I mean, I'm not going to order a Shirley Temple ever, but I would do so over the Roy Rogers in a heartbeat.
All right, Chad.
Not trying to stack the deck. I'm just saying.
You're just saying math is hard. I got it.
Yep.
This is so close to me, actually. I could really go either way on this, but I am going to just surprisingly give the slight edge to the Shirley Temple here. I think it's just a tiny, tiny bit better. So I'm going to give 270 electoral votes to the Shirley Temple and 268 to the Roy Rogers.
It lost Rhode Island, and who else? Do another one. That's one electoral vote. Wyoming? I don't give a fuck. Anyway, move on.
How does it work again? I don't know.
I fully came in expecting to vote for Roy Rogers. It's original thought. And
Tiger's the spawn of Wolfman. Go ahead.
The Shirley,
That's the only thing I like, being son of Wolfman.
I
don't like
need to
anything
thank
else.
you guys because I want to thank you for saying what needed to be said. And that's that the Shirley Temple is better somehow. It just mixes better. It's a better combination. I don't know if how the cherries affected it, but mine tasted almost too strongly cherry. So I think it probably upped it a bit. I'm going to give the Shirley Temple a 290 electoral votes, and the Roy Rogers 248. So Chad is typing into a spreadsheet.
Yeah, so Shirley Temple, of course, then we all preferred it. So it is the winner. 960 electoral votes to Roy Rogers, 654 electoral votes. So
That's the best. Fucked up weird numbers.
Guys, the Shirley Temple won 960 to 654.
I was worried I kind of killed it, but I'm glad we all picked it, so I didn't like unnecessarily sink the Roy Rogers with my lopsided voting.
Did you guys ever run for anything that needed to be voted for in your life? Like for, let's say, class, like president of something, or
I ran from my Wolfman father. That's what I did. I ran for student council a couple times.
No, you ran from Van Helsing, right?
I ran from Van Helsing. We were constantly on the run from him.
Yeah.
I ran for student council a couple times in high school.
couple times? Like it was an election, like you had to put up posters and stuff?
No, I mean you could have. I didn't, but like we voted on it. When I say I ran, I put my name on a piece of paper and I became a student council member.
Oh, you won?
And I also, why?
You won?
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, they vote the nerds in. They don't want to fucking do any work. It's not a bunch of high school jocks in student council. I hate to break it to you. And then I also ran, I think I've told you, we had this thing called Badger Boys State, which actually they just made a documentary or a movie about Texas Boys State. It's a similar thing. And it's like a mock, you get selected by your teachers to go, and like it's like a week-long thing at this they did it at Ripon College in Wisconsin, and you build like a mock government, so everybody has to run for something. So, and then it said eventually one person, the whole thing is elected like governor or something. So I was like, I'm not making this up, I was like 3rd Ward alderman or something, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good, I don't want to do it anymore. So yeah, man. I ran for those.
All I could think about during that story is how many ladies you probably had chasing you.
That's the thing. There's no ladies there. It's literally Badger Boys. There's these girls that are like, that serve like at lunchtime. It was like a cafeteria family style at dinner. And these girls come around with like pitchers of juice and milk to give to you. And like, they get just relentlessly catcalled because like this like week-long bunch, like 14-year-old boys slammed into this college campus, not seeing a woman for a whole week. And these guys get all horned up. It was kind of a weird thing, I gotta be honest.
A little weird.
As alderman, did you calm them down? Did you restore order?
Gentlemen, this is not how a proper government behaves. The senators were over there just like humping their legs and stuff. I'm like, guys, let's show some respect for our electorates.
We must work together to get rid of Van Helsing from hunting our fathers. Am I right, gentlemen? Am I right?
What's with Alderman Geiger and the fucking werewolves, man?
Won't shut the fuck up about those werewolves.
Chad, did you run for anything?
No, of course not. Absolutely not. Never. No. Why would I do that?
Wow. All right.
Novak, you?
Yeah, I don't. I can't imagine. Wouldn't want to be in charge of anything. I like avoid being in charge of stuff. So, and just the whole like process of campaigning and like putting up posters and stuff just sounds like a total nightmare. And I would have lost like really horribly in high school. That would have been the worst part of it.
Yeah, for me, it's a combination of extreme laziness and like not actually really wanting to be in the public eye in any way. You know, I like my anonymity.
I couldn't go outside when I was on fucking Port Washington High School Student Council. I'll tell you what. I had to have a security detail with me at all times.
It's just getting mobbed. Alderman, sign my tits.
You're like, no, Dad, they're too hairy.
Dad. Son, what? Sign my nipples. No, god damn it. Wolf Dad.
Sign my Wolfman tits.
Why the fuck am I signing my Wolfman father's tits? What has happened?
What else are you gonna do with them?
You're in the public eye.
Do you remember?
You're alderman. That's job duty number 1. Sign Wolfman's tits. Number 2.
I have finally made it.
I think that's the only job, actually.
Yeah. And my mother was the mummy. Get it?
Oh gosh.
Oh, that didn't work as well.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't comedic gold like sign Wolfman's titties.
No, it wasn't.
Novak, you might have remembered one of my stories from Badger Boy State. Do you remember me telling you about Voidalevich?
Okay, tell a Voidalevich story. Well, we've already episode's already a huge shit show. So just go ahead and tell the Void 11 story.
There was this one dude in our, like, we all got broken into these communities, right, that had to do the alderman shit, and then you move on to become a Wolfman groupie fucking governor.
Hang on, before we tell the story,
Yeah.
I need to know what actually was the alderman's responsibility.
What did I do?
Yeah, no, you look so fucking perplexed. You were the alderman. You ran for office.
I became alderman,
you won,
and then
I asked you what you did, and you stood there. You were like, "But I."
What do you think? I actually fucking what? Did education reform as a fucking weekend? I won an
Were
election.
you in charge of something?
No, I won an election, and then I was done. We didn't do anything else, and I voted on other shit for other people. I didn't.
Oh, so
He didn't have to do anything because he'd already signed his dad's titties weeks ago.
Yeah. I signed my dad's titties into legislature. No, we went and played basketball and stuff. But I was done.
For the first responsibility of alderman, post up.
Rebound. Mayor, and I'm whipping in the ball.
like you knew you were running for something. You just thought you were running to get a title.
No, the
title was power forward.
You don't actually. It's not an actual government. I don't know what you wanted me to do. Like
I don't know. When someone runs for like a class, student council at school, they're voting on
it's
like
a
different
simulation.
things that go on in the school.
I mean, I voted on
well,
like
fucking simulate something. Then.
yeah, I traded land futures with the guy next to me. Who gives a fuck? Aldermen work like actual aldermen work on like fucking potholes and shit. When I walk around the campus and be like, the infrastructure here needs a lot of improvement. Like, who gives a fuck? I'll call the electric company. No, I'm not gonna do that shit.
You lowered the hoop and simulated a dunk.
I was like, I'm into the youth sports program here. Watch me jam.
Here's the thing: is there's an election and you're asking me to go vote on the election, right? And I'm up there voting.
To be clear, I'm not asking you to vote on the election.
No, but
you don't
let's
have
say
to
I'm
be
at Badger Boy State. Let's say that I was as big a fucking loser as you. And went to Badger Boy State.
Don't be jealous.
And they said, you're going to vote for alderman. So I'm going up there and filling in a name based on nothing. Just that who's going to go play basketball. No. I'm going to write my own name down. So.
We had to do a little campaigning. We had to say like what we would do and what our plan was. I don't remember what my plan was, but then like once you get elected, like you're not actually doing the plan. They don't, like I don't have like a budget and shit. Like I don't have aides and like all that. So like I was done, and then like I would vote for like the other stuff, the guys who wanted to keep moving up the chain. Like then I could decide to run for like mayor and like senator and representative, and then eventually governor. But I don't want to do that shit. Who wants to be governor?
How long was this?
It was a week long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we would like play basketball a lot and eat lunch. There was a lot of eating lunch, I think. And then there was flag football, various sporting activities, and there was a vending machine. That was about our only excitement. Yeah. We ate Butterfingers. Yeah.
Sounds like you should have just decided it with a game of Foursquare, and whoever ended up at the top was the leader.
Foursquare and 7 years ago. That was my speech.
All right, Voidalevich.
I mean, it's okay. Now it's compared to all this other rambling.
No, you have to tell it.
So Voidalevich was the guy in our community. I don't remember what he got elected, but he was a huge fucking dude, and he was like
center.
This big. Yeah, he was. There was actually a guy who was like 6'5" there, and he Ripon College while we were there, like recruited him to come play basketball.
Wow, but, they were scouting at Badger Boy State.
Yeah, they did. They approached him afterward. Yeah, and they did not like me clanking all those threes. I'll have you know.
They approached him. They're like, "You'd make a fantastic alderman."
I was also really upset because the one activity we had, they got us all tickets to go to the new. It was like Jurassic Park: The New World or whatever, the second one. But they didn't have enough tickets to cover everybody, so there's 2 people left out, and I was one of them. So I got to go on a tour of the Ripon Cookie Factory. Yeah, fuck you, Badger Boy.
2 out of how many?
like 40. I don't know. I don't know.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I know.
Wow, alderman doesn't carry a lot of weight. I guess.
No, I probably should have moved up the chain. They probably would have like changed their tune had they known my dad was the Wolfman. So Voitilevich, big, huge dude. He was like a state champion shot putter or something, like real strong guy. And the first day of Badger Boy State, he took a giant dump in the toilet and came out and told everybody about it. And it was like, he's like, guys, you got to check this out. It was like 4 coils or something. I'm like, what? And I'm like, I don't fucking know this guy. He's kind of frightening. Like, he could have bent me in half, and I don't want to go look at his turd. So, like,
but
he's
that's
like,
your
oh,
alderman duties.
I remember him coming up and be like, hey, did you check it out? I'm like, yep. And then, like,
Yeah,
so
you
he
said
wouldn't
yeah.
let. He wrote out of order on the bathroom stall, so no one could flush it. It just stayed in there, and the bathroom reeked.
Because he wanted to like preserve it for future generations or something.
I don't know. And so, like, the last day, I remember him going like, "All right, I'm gonna flush it down now." He was all excited. And I'm like, "What do you want us to play? Taps or something?" Like, I don't give a fuck. So, like, flush your shit. So, but I remember all these guys, because I think they wanted to be his friend. They're going in there like, oh yeah, Voitilevich, that's a good one. That's like complimenting this massive shit pile he laid in there. It was disgusting. So he ran for chief sanitation officer or something, I think. Government.
Wow, what a hero.
I remember his name, I'll put it that way. It's not because he was a good shot putter.
I wonder what he's up to these days. It's just like takes a shit in like the middle of Lake Michigan, and he's like, check out this huge shit. Nobody flushed the lake.
Don't drain the reservoir. My shit's in there. Oh boy.
So, and you follow him around as alderman, just preserving his shits, making sure people don't flush them.
Yeah, that's Trump's slogan, "Drain the swamp," that came from Voitilevich. It was like just creating these swamp ass everywhere by taking huge, violent dumps.
He wants you to not drain the swamp.
Yeah, right. No, that's true. Yeah, don't leave the swamp. Preserve the swamp.
Add more epic shits to the swamp.
Alderman, guard my swamp. No, I'm not guarding your shit, Voitilevich.
Fine, then guard the small forward.
He got recruited. All of them are getting recruited? How bad is this college?
38 out of 40 of these shitheads got recruited. I didn't.
Wait, is that Teen Wolf? No, that's just my dad. He's over there dunking. Oh, boy. I need a map to figure out where we're at with this episode.
All right. Well, Shirley Temple is the president
now.
That's right. Our first female president. Look at that.
Yeah, we did it. Moving things forward. Nice to crown the female president right after a nice, good shit story.
I'm pretty sure we've set things back as opposed to moving them forward. But
what would the Voitilevich drink be? Do we even want to go there?
No. Yoo-hoo and what else?
All right. Well, that'll do it for our election episode. But we will be back for more in the month of November. We've got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, so some fun holiday episodes. Make sure you're downloading, telling your friends. Oh, before we go, Geiger, we forgot to do this social needs.
No one's going to fuck. If you've ever taken a huge dump and didn't flush it, Voitilevich, if you're out there still leaving behind massive 3-coil turds and admiring them for weeks on end, if you need an alderman, I've got some experience. Hook me up. Or if you are you're Van Helsing, please leave my family alone. And I think I hit all the random topics for today. You can reach us at youtrydat@gmail.com, hashtag YouTriedDat on Twitter, You Tried Dat group on Facebook. We're on Instagram and YouTube as well. Leave us a review. a like, let us know a question for the mailbag, or what you think about our snack takes. And if you have any other like kiddie cocktails you enjoyed growing up, maybe let us know when we can try those in 4 years.
All right. That'll do it for this time, but we will be back next time. We'll be trying out 3 brand new snacks.
Yes.
Yep.
Need 35 stickers. If you get those 35 stickers, for whatever you're running for, you get to talk in front of the entire party, which is half the Badger Boys state.